Hey guys, this week we're going to bring you our campground review of Yonah Mountain Campground. Is that did I say that correct?
Yonah Mountain Campground just outside of Helen, Georgia.
You don't need the cold or a snowy mountain road to be in paradise. Don't need diamonds or gold or the pictures we've been sold. Paradise.
Yeah, it is actually right on the same road that goes through the main drag in Helen.
Called Helen Highway.
And so it's about, 2 or 3 miles away, something like that, 5 minutes away.
It's about 3 or 4 miles from actually downtown Helen.
It's not far. Super convenient. When we booked up there, we actually was trying to get into Unicoi, but they couldn't accommodate the days we had to have, and we had to add some extra days and stuff. But Yonah Mountain Campground was more than accommodating. We had to change days around several times because of the weather, and then the days we had to set up.
And we also were towing a trailer that we needed to have at the campground as well, so we needed some extra parking when we were there, and they were super accommodating on that. They had to change our sites a couple of times before we actually arrived. But they got us in a spot that was perfect for us and worked great.
Yeah, the site they ended up giving us actually ended up with they was wanting us to park the trailer at the
conference center.
Where the pool and all that is, and so the site they ended up getting us in was actually right across from that, so the trailer would have been right there close to us, and so we was able to keep an eye on it and everything like that.
So we actually ended up, our site was large enough, we were able to have our camper, truck, car, and trailer all on our site, which is like unheard of.
Yeah. And so we did a drive-through. We will show you that drive-through so you can kind of get a first-hand sight of what the sites look like and how they're laid out. Now, I will tell you, when we went reading the reviews, the biggest complaint we saw in all the reviews was that it's all gravel. The roads aren't paved. The sites, it's not concrete sites and everything like that.
Which didn't bother us.
Normally that doesn't bother us at all. The only thing that made it bad this time was if you saw last week's video,
all the rain.
Tropical Storm Beta went through and dumped 3 to 4 inches of rain on the area around here. And so normally gravel doesn't bother us, but it was really wet when we got there.
It was very wet.
And so, as you know, that tends to track into your camper when you're like that. But normally the gravel is thick enough in most places that wouldn't happen. But it was a little messy.
It was just a little dirty. It didn't cause us any problems. We just had to sweep a little extra.
Yeah, there was no puddles, no flooding, no water held, anything like that anywhere. But there was enough rain that it got the gravel so that it brought in a little bit of dirt when you came into the camper.
But that's no big deal. So we didn't have a problem with the gravel being there. Another bad thing that we had seen online that we weren't sure of is people complained that it was a little too close to the road. You could hear road noise, which that is a little bit of an issue there. You can hear Helen Highway from the front part of the campground. Again, it didn't bother us very much. It's there, it's noticeable, but it was not an issue.
Yeah, we tend to, at night when we camp anyways, we tend to leave the fan running on our AC unit or the heater, either one, whichever one it is. We leave the fan running. And so that most of the time kills out any outside ambient noises you don't want to hear. And so road noise never really bothered us, but that was one comment we did see recurring in some of theirs. Some of the reviews and everything before we went, but we got there. Like I said, these people was just so accommodating to us. They were so nice. They answered all of our questions. They do not do online reservations,
right?
And so they don't have an online reservation system that you can just go in and pick your site and all that. But in saying that, call them anytime. They're great.
Oh, they're like on a scale of 10, they're like a 15.
Our time that we had to set up in Helen ended up getting moved up. We had to be in Helen setting our tent up for our merchandise by, I think it was 9:30, and the campground doesn't open till 9, and so that didn't leave us enough time to drop the camper off
and
before the time they open.
their check-in is around 1 or 2 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
It's definitely after lunchtime, and so we were in a dilemma of what do we do with our camper and our truck while we're setting up for this show. So we just gave them a call, and they said, not a problem, come on in. We'll leave, your check-in information on the door, because we were getting there before they opened. And everything was there. They had a site ready for us. We didn't have to worry about it and didn't have to wait.
Yeah, and that enabled us just to kind of drop the camper off there. Then we went on into downtown Helen, set our tent and everything up there, left the trailer up there, and then ended up coming back and actually doing the check-in, setting up the camper and everything. And it was after lunchtime. It was probably 1 or 2 o'clock
Yeah, it
by
was
the
about
time
1 o'clock by then.
we got by there. But we really appreciate that. Sometimes some campgrounds can kind of give you hassle, and I know they've got rules for reasons, and I'm not one to try to ask for exceptions and like that. But things kind of got changed on us last minute because of the weather and everything with the show, and they were so accommodating. Like I say, I know a lot of places would have probably told us no, figure out something else, or maybe we'd had to pay for another night and check in the night before or something like that. These people was so great. They didn't charge us any extra, even though we did a super, super early check-in. And they actually, like I said, they told us we could have came on up the night before. They said, we're just going to go ahead and block that site off for you on the night before, and that way you get here early, you ain't got to worry about somebody else being there. And I mean, super, super nice. And gosh, I mean, it was like $45 a night.
Yeah, it was great.
And so we literally, right now, Oktoberfest is going on up here in Helen, up there in Helen. And so our friends of ours, they sold their camper. We travel a lot with High Kraus, but they used to have a toy hauler, but they sold it years ago. And so they actually had to get a hotel room, and the cheapest hotel room they could get was like $150 a night.
Let's just say we spent 3 nights in the campground for less money than their 1 night in a hotel room. So you can't beat that.
And we heard other vendors talking, some of the hotel rooms being Oktoberfest, it's so crowded in hell, and some of the rooms I probably was going for $300 and $400 a night. So $45 a night to be 2, 3, 4 miles away from downtown Helen on the main drag was an absolute bargain.
Yes.
And so we had a great time. We will show you around the campground, show you some of the sites, and kind of show you everything. Like I say, our own personal complaint was some of the sites are not very private. They accommodated us by what we needed, because we had the trailer with us and we needed an extra place to park it in her car. So they moved us close to the community center there where the pool and everything is. But the bad thing is, normally you have your back end sites and you kind of lined up. So you, at least, once you set up on one side with your fire pit and your picnic table, you're kind of on the back side of the other person next to you. So at least you do have a little bit of privacy. Well, this site was actually turned
sideways.
Straight.
Yeah, we were pulled straight in. So when we opened our awning and had our picnic table set up, we were looking at the conference center and the highway.
Yeah, and the other campgrounds.
Yes, the other campers in front of us,
across from us and everything. And so that's our only complaint. It's not a big complaint. It didn't bother us at all, because again, this is kind of more of a working vacation than just a vacation. And so we wasn't, set outside for hours by the campfire or anything like that. We was more there just to have a place so that we could stay and do the show up in Helen. So most days we was up in Helen.
And even with that said, the other campers around us, we did speak with quite a few of them, and they were super nice. Would not have bothered us at all to sit at the picnic table and chat with them. So we had a really good time. And they do have a playground. They have swimming pool. They have public facilities there at the campground for all of the campers, and it's just a really great place. But like he said, it's not quite as private as some other campgrounds, but that wasn't a big issue for us on this trip either.
Yeah, and they do have some long timers that stay there on the back sites. The front 2 or 3 roads seem to be more weekend overnighters, and then the back couple of roads seem to be like long term. A lot of people had decks built and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but so they had it divided up pretty good. They even had tent sites down by the little pond that they had around back, and so it's a pretty neat little campsite. again, for the money, you can't beat it if you want to stay in Helen, because especially during Oktoberfest, it can get super crazy expensive. So I urge you guys, if you're in the area and you want a campsite, and maybe you try to get into Unicoi and you can't get into Unicoi, because I know I've heard from other people that's hard to get in Unicoi all year long, not just during Oktoberfest. And so if you're looking for someplace else just so you can get to go, definitely give these people a call. As always, guys, I will put their information down in the comments below so that you have a way to get in touch with them. I'll put their website on. They do have a website, even though they don't do online reservations, but they do have a website that'll have all their information on there so that you can pull it up and check it out.
Definitely. Just another little note too, everything there was very well maintained. Everything was manicured. The landscaping looked good. All the buildings are in a great state. So, I mean, we highly recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, all the hookups was in really good shape. I mean, they really seem like they care about their campground.
Yes.
And they really take care of things. I mean, everything was top notch as far as that goes. And so, sometimes you pull in these campgrounds and they get used so much that some of that stuff kind of starts deteriorating.
Right.
But when we was checking out, actually, the two people across from us actually left before us, and they was actually a guy over there. He was checking the water, he was checking the sewer, he was checking the power, and making sure everything was tip top before the next people came in. And so that's something you don't always see. So it's the little things that make a difference.
For sure.
All right, guys, stay with us and check us out. Make sure you check back in next week. We'll have another video for you then.
See ya.